Tiene la palabra los Estados Unidos. Ambassador.
Thank you, Chair. We appreciate the General Assembly time to address the crisis in Nicaragua and thank Canada and Chile for shepherding today's text through negotiation as co-chairs of the OAS Voluntary Group on Nicaragua. The passage of this declaration demonstrates our region's condemnation of the Murillo-Ortega dictatorship and its egregious human rights violation and destabilization of the hemisphere as a whole. Since 2018, Rosario Murillo and Daniel Ortega have transformed Nicaragua into a dynastic police state. In 2025, the legislative goons rewrote the Constitution to elevate Murillo to co-president without even the pretense of an election. The dictators have silenced, exiled, and jailed under horrific conditions thousands of real and perceived opponents, including American citizens. Unjust arrests continue unabated, and authorities subject to release political prisoners to constant police surveillance, harassment, and movement limitations. Religious freedom violations persist. The dictatorship forcibly exiled, expelled, and denied re-entry into Nicaragua of more than 300 clergy and nuns. Half the country's bishops reside outside Nicaragua, and at least 51 priests face the possibility of statelessness. The recent death of political opposition leader Brooklyn Rivera was a horrific tragedy. He should still be alive. The United States holds the Murillo-Ortega dictatorship singularly responsible for his death. We condemn the arrest and imprisonment of Rivera's family members and call for the release of all unjustly detained political prisoners. Today's declaration rightly emphasizes these points. Nearly a year ago to the day, assailants murdered Roberta Samken, living in exile in Costa Rica. The Murillo-Ortega dictatorship, which threatens the sovereignty of its neighbors in Central America. We condemn all instances of transnational repression of Nicaraguans and note with growing concern the dictatorship's increased harassment and violence against Nicaraguan journalists in exile. Mr. Chair, SAMCAM and all Nicaraguans, both in country and in exile, deserve justice. Murillo and Ortega also stifle growth by confiscating property and businesses, including those belonging to U.S. citizens. No country can arbitrarily seize assets and expect economic opportunity and growth. As we underscored in the process of developing today's text, the United States objects to the inclusion of reference to United Nations Human Rights Council, which has protected human rights abuses and allowed them to use the organization to shield themselves from scrutiny. Given the Murillo-Ortega dictatorship, failure to respect the Inter-American Democratic Charter, the United States also underscores the critical importance of ensuring conditions of representative democracy are met prior to any consideration of Nicaragua possibly returning to the OAS. Nicaragua must prove it has fully restored democratic institutions and demonstrate its good faith commitment to restoring respect for human rights. The Democratic Charter provides the clear framework for that assessment. We lament that the Murillo-Ortega dictatorship has moved Nicaragua further and further from the conditions of democracy and bind us together as members of this organization. We plan to make our expectations in this respect clear with a footnote in the text. As indicated in the declaration, the U.S. will submit our footnote in due course to the Secretariat to address our views. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.